Hi there, it's Amara. I make music, among other things, and today I took a little time this evening to look at some old videos that I used to upload, and I just really appreciated them, and I realized it's been a long time since I've done that. So today I want to upload specifically on how I'm doing in motherhood at this time. There is a ton of other stuff going on in my life, but this feels like something that I would love to update on and am prepared to talk about. So this will be uncut. Um so the last video I watched one about the first year of marriage with my husband, which I'm going to get him back on here soon too. And then I watched one about before and after becoming a mom, and it inspired me because just thinking back on that time and how challenging it was for me, it just makes me so proud and blessed to know where I am now. Um, just a little context, right now we are living in my parents' house because we are building a house this year, which is so exciting, but we're in a very small and challenging space to exist in with two small babies. And we are so grateful because my family is saving us thousands of dollars by letting us stay here. And it's meant the world. And we definitely keep good boundaries and separate family units. But there are challenges. And yet, I feel like I've been able to settle into, for the most part, this beautiful place of gratitude and surrender in my day to day life. But it wasn't that easy. So I had my first in 2022, yes. And then we got pregnant by on purpose, and had our daughter a couple years later, just a little less than 2 years later in 2024. She's 8 months now, so yeah, that makes sense. Mom brain math. But the adjustment to two was not too bad because my husband was off for that whole summer. He had like almost 3 whole months at home with us to help me tag team the kids. And when he did go back to work, it was really a big adjustment and it was very challenging. But we then shortly moved here, and then I broke through. I got into a groove, if that makes sense. It was really hard for a couple weeks, and then it got a lot easier. But it's just amazing to me, like, how much motherhood changes you and refines you as a person. And for me, there's just some key points that I feel have been so helpful to me lately. Um, One of them is acceptance, because motherhood is seriously hard. I mean, no matter what anyone tells you, oh, it was easy for me or whatever. Motherhood, basically you are in a, especially for me, I'm mostly stay-at-home mom. Imagine exercising one muscle at the gym every single day to like 3 times a day to failure. Okay? And that's it. Like you're just doing tricep dips 3 times a day to failure every single day. Not only do you get really, really sore and exhausted and imbalanced, you do also grow in strength and eventually become very strong in that motion, right? So, but the truth is, it's always hard. It's always hard to just be working that one part of yourself so thoroughly and to exhaustion. But at the same time, it's so full of such beauty and it's amazing. But back to my point, the acceptance, if you are always at odds with that challenge in your life and you're like, I'm barely surviving, like, I need this, I need this, I need this, or why can't I find myself as who I was before I had kids or whatever, like, it tends to just make the whole process way more painful and challenging. And I'm not saying you have to give up on who you are at all, because I've never been an advocate for that. I am very lucky to continue doing things I love because of my supportive husband and all of that. But what I am saying is, like, you just have to accept that life is different now for good. And not only is that a fact, but it's also a blessing. And you have to receive that amidst the challenge and difficulty and just expect it. Expect the challenge every day instead of always trying to escape it, if that makes sense. Um, it's really normal, like with each change in life, a new kid, a move, whatever, to have an adjustment period where it feels impossible at times. But once you get in a groove, you can really find the joy in every small moment. And motherhood just becomes a massive blessing, bigger than almost anything else you can experience in life. And it refines you and it shapes you to become um, a more perfected individual, someone who is much better at managing their emotions, who is much better at being patient and kind. You know, it's meant to be to make you better, not to make your life worse. So acceptance is huge. Another one is just starting every day with gratitude, and I've been able to lock into that mindset ever since probably about 4 months in with our second. The first 3 to 4 months to me just feel like survival, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with crying and having difficulty and whatever with that, but we got into a system that worked for us, and I was able to take the hard days with more grace on myself and my family. And gratitude, it just puts a light on everything. It just, any good that could possibly be in any situation is amplified instead of focusing on the challenge, the hurt, the hardship. It gets you, it's almost, I mean, I wouldn't describe it as delusion because there really is a lot to be grateful for, but it is that thing of like tricking your brain almost like to just to refocus. Like even if you're actively drowning, like this is so much I can't. The more you say that in your head, the more impossible your situation becomes, but the more you try to reframe and um are able to view the situation differently, it actually can cause the whole situation to become better. So I guess that's what I mean when I say delusion. It's like it feels impossible, but there is some stuff you can do and it can really help. Um, and through those things, I feel like I've been able to get into a place with motherhood where I am rarely tested beyond my limits. In those first few months with my daughter being a newborn, there were definitely more moments where I just hit complete and total exasperation and frustration. And I feel like now that I've, one, gotten out of the extremely demanding phase with a newborn, and two, like found these tools and adjustments for my heart and my attitude toward parenting, I've been able to just handle it all so much better and get to the end of my rope way less often. I have methods for how to prevent myself from getting to the end of my rope, and have also just grown so much in patience and um, yeah, just growing as a parent. One thing that I find such joy in as a parent is being able to look at my children and just be in awe of them. Instead of getting annoyed by them all the time, being critical of them, you know, trying to constantly correct every little imperfection, I've been learning to just realize how beautiful each individual person is and how blessed I am to have this life in my hands, honestly. Like, I am stewarding this young human who is so incredibly made, beautifully and wonderfully made, with strengths and with weaknesses. And in my opinion, weaknesses are only strengths misused. So, how can I help steward these weaknesses into something that will serve them instead of seeing them as, oh, you need to change, or that's a flaw, or I don't understand you, or whatever. And I know my kids are little, they're 2.5 and 8 months, but it's been such a joy. Um, I feel like almost in a sense, uh, maybe some of the ways that I as a kid would have preferred to have more grace or more praise or more appreciation, I get to do that for my own kids. And just seeing how comfortable they are with us and how much they trust us, love us, and respect us because of some of the things we're establishing has been so rewarding. So, oh man, overall, as I'm in motherhood right now, I feel very blessed. I feel amazed. I feel tired pretty much all the time. Um, I I just feel so lucky that God blessed us with these kiddos. I'm enjoying them more and more as they grow. My son is learning everything. He's 2.5. He knows the whole alphabet, can count to 10 and recognize numbers way beyond. I mean, he can do simple addition sometimes. He knows like 30 shapes, including like trapezoid and parallelogram. Like, he's blowing me away. And it's fun to see where he needs to learn and develop and grow and put that energy in because he's an avid learner. He loves to learn. And so right now we're helping him understand emotions, how to handle his emotions, and just developing language skills. And so I get to just see those needs and meet them. And he is so excited to learn. And my daughter is, she started walking a couple days before 8 months. She's so small to be walking, but guys, she's so stable. She's so determined and falls really well. Like, she doesn't often get hurt from falling. And so I'm not nearly as scared as I thought I'd be, but she is so bright and so joyful and so sweet and gentle. And I just feel like she's going to be a little whippersnapper. So just, I don't know. If this video does anything for you, I just hope that it can show a good balance of what it's like to be a mom, because I think in social media nowadays we're seeing there was definitely a time where people didn't talk about hardship, and so there's a ton of people talking about hardship like excessively. And then there's also people on the other spectrum who have this extreme, almost toxic positivity about it all, like, oh, get over it, like motherhood's the best thing I've ever done in my life. And yes, but like, it's both. For most people, it's the hardest thing and the best thing. So yeah, just have grace on yourself and just know that it is so worth it. It is so blessed. And if you're struggling, that's okay, because we all do at some point. Even if there's some lucky mom who has 3 under 3 and they're all just pure gems and she never suffered a day in her life, probably someday in parenthood there's going to be a challenge that she has to face, and it might be one of the greatest challenges of her life. And I'm not someone who would ever say like, just wait. No, that's not right. But it's just to help people understand they're not alone and to gear up and prepare to be an excellent parent, knowing that it is amazing and challenging. So it's definitely hard to see a society today that, like, if you don't want to have kids, great, that's fine. I actually really respect that decision. But there's so much negativity towards kids and parenting. Like, there's such a, sorry, something's loud up there. There's such a negativity viewing becoming a parent and how it changes your life, and how everyone seems to hate their kids because they're struggling to be a parent because parenting's hard, or I don't want to, why would I want to give up this and that? I just think that some of this messaging around parenthood right now is so off and toxic and imbalanced. And so, I don't know, I just thought I'd share. And I always love looking back at these in the future and just seeing where I was at. And I just take so much joy in it, because you see how much you grow as a person and how much you've changed inherently. And it's beautiful. Let life shape you, the hard, the blessing, soak it all in. That's one of my big general tips, right now, is just not, I don't want to say as be present, because everyone says that and nobody does it, but like, live intentionally in each season. Like before I got pregnant with my second, I knew it could be just as hard as my first pregnancy, which was the hardest part of my life to this day. And I geared up for 3 months. I ate really healthy food and I just thoroughly enjoyed every day. Like I woke up and I was like, I feel healthy today. I feel well. That's good. I'm going to enjoy that. I'm going to intentionally revel in that right now because it might be gone for 4 months, you know, it might be gone for 9 months. So I don't know. I just feel like we really miss out on the rejuvenation that each positive season has for us. We take it for granted and then we go into our challenging seasons already not stocked up to handle and weather the storm. So when you have a beautiful season, be intentional to appreciate it every moment that you can. In the morning, in the night, in those special moments, just revel in them. And one thing that I've found in doing that is it becomes a practice, and eventually everything that might have felt hard before feels a little better, feels a little easier, a little lighter. And I just feel like my golden era has been going on forever, even with the challenges. Just feeling just God's grace empowering me to somehow be able to live to the fullest. Now, I'm just going to add here, obviously I have my off days. I have times where I'm just overwhelmed or I'm exhausted or as soon as my husband gets home, I pass him the baby and I go be alone for 10 minutes, you know. That is so normal. But it's not one or the other. You can really allow the good things to permeate your being. And then when you do face those struggles, you can take it with you and handle them even more graciously than you ever thought you could. So, anyways, motherhood, I'm loving it. I am hoping for a breather this time, maybe a couple years between, a few years between kids instead of two, because that was a lot back to back, but we'll see what God has in store. I love my kids so much. Yeah. Oh, and final note too, I love my husband even more than I did when I married him, even more than I did last year, last week. He continues to blow me away with being an excellent father and partner every day. So that also helps. Anyways, just a little life update, and soon I want to do a video with my husband talking about marriage, maybe for our four-year anniversary, will it be? 3? I don't know. I'm losing count. Maybe before, who knows. But I want to try and get a little bit back on here because I really enjoy looking back at these. Anyways, I'll quit rambling and follow me if you're interested in following our home building journey, which starts in just a couple months. Thanks for watching.